Yanga. Okay. Uh, sorry about the delay. I had an important phone call. Yanga, you there? Uh, uh, oh, Yanga. Oh shit. I can fix that. Queen Andy's camp. Let's see. Edit. Yanga. Oh shit. Hey, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat if y'all can hear me. Everyone, if y'all can hear me, please press a one so I know that my audio's okay because I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, let's get rolling, man. Sorry about that. I had a phone call, but I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right, I don't know. Had you been hearing me?
No, this is the first time I've heard you.
Are you serious?
Yes,
During
sir.
the
Yes,
whole
sir.
thing?
The whole thing.
Man, y'all don't know. You know what? I hate to say, I'm thinking you guys can hear me,
Oh
and
shit.
I was getting down. Y'all miss
Oh,
everything.
you got to roll it back. Roll it back. Roll it back.
Yo,
Yanga, roll
y'all
it
miss
back.
everything. I should have known, man.
Yeah,
I should
man,
have
roll
known
it
y'all
back.
would.
Yeah, that's why these mic checks are important, brother.
Word,
Just like
man.
Comcast, you know.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you. I'm
yeah,
telling you. All right, man. What's up? What's
mhm.
up, everyone? Listen. Ah, man, and people were coming in. I appreciate the
Yeah,
love. People were coming in and out. I'm like, I must be getting down. I see this thing going up.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
man,
They
all power,
waiting.
right? All powers to oppress people. African power to an African people, man. It's your brother Yang and Kruma.
Mhm.
This impromptu,
Yeah.
impromptu. I was talking to Son, and one of the things that made me want to do this live was um going through my feed going through my feed. Now, I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people who have undesensitized myself, son. I used to be desensitized. Like there was one point in time I could get all of these black murders in my feed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I could stomach to a degree um getting these videos of police
Police
killing us.
brutality. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
police
Yeah.
brutality. That was a while
Uh-huh.
back. But
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
then, man, it's hard for me to stomach and swallow that.
Right. Yeah. I can understand that, brother.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, with that being said, I'm going to say this. I don't know much of the particulars or the specifics about this case here, this Jason Van Dyke who murdered Laquan McDonald. Like I said, I will just get, it'll pop up in my feed and I'll just get the general.
Right.
Police murders another black male, so many shots in what city. And I'm good. I don't have to have particulars. I'm sickened. I'm tired. The shit is ridiculous, right? So here's the crux of it. This pig murders Jason Van Dyke, murders Laquan McDonald. I believe he was shot 16 times and gets out after doing under 4 years. Just a little
Hmm.
bit over three, around three. That is an insult. But
Yeah.
what I thought was really a complete insult, what I thought was really a slap in the face, is that the cracker, that the pasty only got 7 years in the first place.
Right.
I know Negroes with to get longer sentences for jaywalking.
Shoplifting. Yep. Shoplifting. Goddamn DUI. Shit. Oh
Okay.
gosh. Parole violation. Oh
Right,
gosh, man.
right.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, brother.
So how do you shoot a young man 16 times and are able to walk? Not even first, you only get 7 years, and not even doing half of that. Doing on well, maybe he did half for good behavior. They say.
Right.
So the latest outcry about that is they're trying to escalate it to federal charges,
Right.
and I think that this should be done. I
Now, the only
wanted,
thing about that, I
yeah,
think they call it double jeopardy because he already did time. That would violate his rights under double jeopardy. So yeah, he did time for it. So the thing is, it becomes double jeopardy if he's rearrested and does time again. That's the only problem.
yeah, that's a travesty.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no, it is. But I
It
mean,
is.
yeah,
It
that's
is.
something that, yeah, the law system is very tricky because we don't want that shit to come back and bite us on the ass as black
Right.
people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if they were to pass something like that, that means they can go back and round up people based on crimes and say, oh, well, you know what? I mean, this is federal. We don't feel like you did enough time. So it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky, Yanga. That's why it's a little tricky.
It is. It's a double-edged sword.
It
That's why
is.
the
It
whole
is.
thing, when you're dealing with politics, man, that's
Yeah.
why I'm a revolutionary, man. That's why I'm
Hmm.
like, fuck reformism anyway.
Right.
If I had my way, in a movie, if I wrote a book or something, you always got to talk like this because I know I got you, uh, you cocksucking police out there listening. I know you feds are listening to me. I know you want to get me and catch me on some sucker shit,
Hmm.
but I'm not going to allow you to catch. I'm not inciting. I'm not soliciting to sedition. I'm not encouraging any foolish shit. But had I had my way or wrote a book about a revolutionary movement, then I think shit like that should be dealt with.
Yeah.
The system, it is a farce. However, in the words of Ernesto Che Guevara, he said, wherever there's a democracy or the farce or the semblance of a democracy, then
Right.
armed revolution is not an option.
Yeah.
Meaning, wherever there is a place where the system puts a democracy or something that looks like a democracy, where people are deceived into believing that they are choosing their elected, that their officials are elected, or that they're choosing their representation, to physically try to remove that would look as if you were going against the people.
Right.
So he says that's not wise.
Mhm.
So I do believe in a radical reformism. I do believe in participating in the political process at a complete radical level, at an extreme radical level that, like people have heard me say, forces contradictions.
Right.
You know, I think that when a police officer murders a black person based on just the relationship, the black and police relationship in the community, that it automatically should be a federal hate crime.
Right. Yeah,
If it's
with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nip it before. Yeah, yeah. Like
you
have
see
it
what I'm
already set
saying?
up. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That way we don't have
Like
to
if you
go
hit a
back and yeah.
homosexual and yell sissy at the same time, isn't it a hate crime?
Yeah, it is a hate crime
You
automatically.
see what I'm saying? I think that the
Hmm.
track record between the police and the black community is one.
Hmm.
That if you look, I mean, from antiquity, from his history to now, when you look at the relationship of the police and the black community and the brutality meted against the black community by the armed wing of the state, more commonly known as the police department, then I think that it is more than enough for us to push for our radical reformers to push for federal hate crimes. I also think I'm a radical. I also think that when a police officer kills and is found guilty of killing one of us in the community, and when they pay back this restitution, that the restitution shouldn't come from you and I. You do know that you and I pay this restitution, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Chat room listeners, it's taxpayer dollars. I
Hmm.
think that they should penalize the family. I think that should be little Becky's college fund. Won't be no college for you, bitch. You'll
Damn.
be a McDonald's working bitch. Little Becky will be a flipping burgers.
Mm-hmm.
Won't be a college. Won't be a Fortune 500 future in your career, little Timmy. Your ass will be out there cutting grass. I think that you should. It automatically. They should pay for that shit. I
Mm.
don't. They should snatch every luxury, every wealth. The stiffer the better. Anything that would discourage and make police officers think twice about that punk ass shit they're doing. Like the white
Right.
woman who accidentally shot the brother. She thought her pistol was a taser. What kind of goofy,
Oh
crazy
yeah, that
idiot
was some
shit?
goofy ass shit. Yeah, straight goofy, straight goofiness.
And pardon
Mm-mm-mm.
the body, I usually don't refer to women as bitches, but I am taking the luxury today to refer as the pasty, pale skin, buttermilk complected, stringy hair, dog smelling white female as a bitch.
Damn.
I'm riding it today. Bitch!
Mm-hmm.
She is that today. And why is she a bitch today? Because she birthed a bitch motherfucker that walked after murdering one of our black men, young black men, with
Yeah.
who knows how much potential. Who knows what the universe had in design and in the store. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I should give out a verbiage alert too, because my language may be rough on this show. It's usually pretty tough, but this one may be a little because I'm pissed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm pissed. I'm tired of having to explain to my son. My son says, Dad, what's wrong? I'm sitting there looking crazy in the fucking face.
Right.
He's like, Dad, what's wrong? For the third time, maybe even the fourth, I have to explain to him about the murder of black people. The first time was heartbreaking,
Yeah.
being from
Yeah.
Cleveland. I had to explain about Tamir Rice, a young
Yeah.
man relatively his age,
Yeah.
12. My son's 13.
Mhm. Oh yeah, he's at that age, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad. Well, I mean, I still got another son to go, but my oldest son, yeah, I remember when that happened. I had to go through that with him.
How old is your
Now,
oldest?
oh no, my oldest is 23 now. Yeah, he's
Oh,
yeah, he's fully
whole
grown
new
now.
set of dangers. What do they say? The,
Mhm.
the, the dangers
Yeah,
on for what us is what? Like 15 to 27 something?
yeah.
Like high. It doesn't stop. It doesn't mean it
It doesn't.
stops.
No, it
It
doesn't
just means
stop.
it's high risk.
Right.
We
Well,
know it's high risk. Yeah.
yeah, I just, just the only benefit we got going for our sons is that they become older and wiser and they
Yes.
observe. And I mean, now he's not green to uh the way the police react to things. So yeah, like my son, man, he almost got in a situation where he was scared to hold his cell phone. And I said, yeah, well, don't I mean, what do you tell your son in that situation? So yeah, my oldest son, yeah, went through that, So I know the fears that you have for your son, I get that. And I still have a younger son that's actually, yeah, about the same age as your son. And he's, he's a little different than his brother, but the police will still treat you the same, so you just have to, yeah, it's just, man, oh man,
It
it's
is. It's like
stressful,
you
bro. Yeah, it's
yeah,
stressful as
it's
father.
age and maturity. But
Yeah,
like you said, they live in that age where they're perceived
right.
a certain way. Like
Hmm.
we have to be honest. White people are frightened by us.
Right.
We intimidate white people. We intimidate them into the strangest reactions.
Yeah,
And
but
white
what's
people,
so funny? They frightened by the sisters too, though. Let's not forget they
oh
frightened by
yeah,
some of the sisters.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Our sisters,
Absolutely.
sisters take these hard hit on these jobs, man. And so yeah, I want to say that yeah, they go through it too, also. So not just us. I mean, yeah, we go through what we go through, but they also go through it. So we go through it together as a nation, the women and children. So we all go through it. So yeah, but go ahead. I didn't mean to. Yeah,
No, no, absolutely. No, you're putting it in there. And I'm sure, and if a sister wants to jump in and explain from that perspective,
right.
I wouldn't
Hmm.
pretend to know exactly how they go through it.
Yeah,
But if you're black, you're gonna go through it. This right
that's
here,
true. Yeah,
this just happens to be a black male. But we have Sandra Bland.
Sandra Bland. Yeah, Sandra Bland. Yeah.
We have from my hometown, Louisville, Kentucky. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting names. Sister Taylor, Breonna Taylor. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry I'm forgetting names, and this is a trap because it's so many.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
traumatized. You
Yeah.
know,
Brianna looked just like my oldest daughter, like exactly like her. I was like, damn. What the
right.
hell? Yeah.
You
They
see
look
what I'm saying, man?
mm-hmm.
We're traumatized. They keep coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know. An interesting thing about that case, man, I am so sorry that again another one of us lost our life. But I will say, and the brother I was, damn, how do you say this? There's no good way to say it. However, her man instinctively and what is it when you reflexively uh
Mm-hmm.
bust back. He shot back. At first they initially tried to charge him, so I do applaud him for that effort in
Yeah.
defending his home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Within his
Yeah.
rights. And they actually had the audacity in the beginning to try to charge him with something, man. This
Oh
is how
wow.
savage this, yeah, this is how
Yeah,
savage
it's
this devil
crazy.
is. Of course, that didn't fly.
Yeah,
But I
hell, that
mean,
won't fly.
we have to begin to be so. What do we do, fam? What do we do to begin to be proactive?
Whew. Yeah, we definitely gonna need some participation from the chat because I just can't just fall on my your shoulder and your shoulder like when it comes to solutions. And we have to work as a
Absolutely.
community. So, yeah, chat, throw some suggestions
So,
in. What do we
peace, just
need?
me. What's good?
Hey.
Hey,
Hey,
Oh, hey. Um,
hey.
I mean, like, okay, so I don't really have many solutions other than it's like all I could think of is get like laws passed and all that. Cause and I don't really like that because I know it sounds like depend on the government and all that. But since like they can make laws to protect Asians and everything, I figured like if we make like enough of an effort, we could probably get some laws passed on us so they're not just we're not getting unnecessarily shot. Um because it's like I'm just gonna be honest. I really don't look at these cases because like usually I'm just like a sobbing mess on the floor if I
Right.
look at too many of them. So I just
mhm.
tried not to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I'm like, I'll be honest, I haven't even heard about this Laquan one,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember like I think someone made like a compilation of all like the shootings. And
Wow.
I think I got to the third one and I was like already like in tears and all that stuff. So it's like I'm not in the mood to just be an emotional wreck about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say because I know you brought up the women, our stuff is usually um even though actually I've been held at gunpoint by the police myself.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
but what was it? I would say ours would be like, from what I can understand, is usually like rape by the police. That's ours a lot of the time. Um, and yeah, they will shoot too. Um,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, we look at Breonna Taylor, and that's one of the most notable ones. I'm sure that there are countless cases of women who have been murdered by the police because I don't even believe when it comes to this police aggression or bad policing in our community, I don't even know if it is gender related. I'm sure in the treatment of it, some of it is, but the offshoot, I believe, is black because they're in a black community. The whole intention is to perpetrate crimes against black people. When women are pulled over, are they pulled over because they're women or because they're black? And I would venture to say because they are black women.
Right.
yep, I was about to say
You know what
both.
I'm saying? Yeah, because they are black women. I think that when we look at play, and one of the mistakes that I believe we would make is I understand the importance of women um, bringing out gender specific issues within the overall issue of blackness and black evolution and the determination or define black in America. But I would also caution us not to over genderify everything. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the gender issues I still would argue are not particular or not specific for us as a people. Like some of the things we're actually blamed for as black men, we don't have the power to do. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the issues get interwoven with women's suffrage and black men. We get put in, we get, this is what's crazy. We get the blame of the white man for women, the whole women's suffrage movement. And at the same time, we get blamed for not having the power of the white men. It's the damnedest thing. So I try to stay out of those arguments. But when it comes to black, I really would caution against men and women to when they're looking at issues to see how relevant gender really is as opposed to race.
Mm.
Yeah, real talk, real talk. Because like I said, I think sometimes things get overgeneralized with us. Like I've heard some of the complaints of our sisters, and they are general complaints that encompass the whole spectrum of womanhood, of the woman suffrage movement, of the complaints that women have. And I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, I'm saying just what a fact is. And I can understand that. However, I think to project that, like I said, on black men at particular times for particular things is like, okay, sister, that's kind of oxymoron. Then you, in the same breath, you turn around and tell me that I'm not as powerful as a white man. You blame me for a male dominance and supremacy over you that at the same time you saying I don't possess because I'm a follower, I'm weak, I don't have the power of the white man. It's an oxymoron. It can be possible. And so what it is there again, we've become a scapegoat. Just like we do it to the sisters. We go out there, we take the beating and of society, Yezaballs and Nosaballs, and we buy into the whole manhood notion, and we go out into this world and can't fulfill that notion. Why? Because the oppressing ruling class at this particular time, which happens to be a white male supremacist ideology, if not the white male itself, the white male supremacist ideology, since we can't live up to that by design, because they're the ones who defy manhood. Believe me, your enemy is never going to let you reach something called manhood. So since you can't live up to that and you're bumping your head against a fucking wall trying to accomplish something that he isn't going to let you do, you go home and to assert your manhood or to get this sense of, this false ideology, this false shit that this pasty is giving you, you beat up your woman verbally, mentally, physically, you know. And so it's this, we really just are suffering from the sprinkle down effects of an immoral, illicit, corrupt, broken society called white capitalist America. And this is what, if that society is broken, what do you think the people who are emulating it are going to be like? You know what I'm saying? We're going to be worse than that. And so when our problems come up like this pig who shot a young man 16 times, the issue gets muddied. It gets cloudy. We don't see it for what it really is, that we are an exploited class of people. We are an exploited class. And that class is based on whether you want to call it your race, your ethnicity, your color, your tribe, whatever. If you don't want to call it anything, then it's based on how the oppressing ruling class perceives you. So whether you like me or not, I could give a damn if you care about me or not. Don't you think it would be in your best interest to develop a culture that is defensive and offensive to a white supremacist culture? Just out of sheer necessity of survival. Just out of sheer necessity of survival. It would be advantageous for me and you to work together to develop a culture that will allow us to be what we need to be to ensure the continuance of us as a people. But since you don't believe you're a people, which is the first mistake, since you don't believe you're a people, you take everybody's fight on but your own. Black women take on the woman fight. Black men run and join these religions. Now Negroes are fighting the Palestinian fight. Negroes are going over there. Black niggas trying to make Jews black and fighting for land in Israel. These
I'm
niggas
so
are
Right.
done.
Right.
we divide our effort. We're everywhere, but where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
We are finding fight and fault with everything except where we need to find fight and fault with. I mean, this is what we do. Why? Because it's horrible. It almost looks like there is no win to the situation. The only thing I do, man, I think you want to know why I acknowledge ancestors. Because when I look at what we have evolved to, what we've come to now, man, I have to acknowledge my ancestors because I'll be like, damn, if my ancestors had the spines of some of these spineless, gutless, cowardly ass Negroes, we'd be in trouble. Boy, we ought to be somewhere still talking about, oh, I wish y'all were in the land of cotton. Look away. We still be somewhere saying, look away, Dixie.
Yeah.
If our ancestry possess some of them, because these Negroes think that they're loud and they're vocal and they're getting on the neck because they screaming fuck a crack or waving their fist or they're doing all this. I ain't my ancestors, nigga. Y'all reactionary. Bunch of all of y'all out there fucking reactionaries. Where's the proaction? And when someone I like just me says, gives a proactive idea, like, yo, we need to make some laws, make them radical laws. People will say, there she go with the law, but don't have a fucking solution. Their solution is defeatism and apathy. Don't give a fuck. Close your eyes. Close your ass tight.
Mm-hmm.
A black nationalist says, throw a solution out there. Let us bat it around for a minute. We're not saying to put your religion in your pocket. What does that mean? Put your sensitivities in your pocket. Put your heart in your pocket. Put your emotions in your pocket. Let's be just objective about the solution. Let's look at it. Let's bat it back and forth for a minute. Let's see its consistency. Let's see
Mm-hmm.
its substance. Let's see if it sticks. When we're talking about our liberation, nothing should be off the fucking table. And because it may be too big for us to grasp, doesn't mean that it's not feasible. It just means you have to step your game up, pimping. Step your studies up, brother, sister. Step your influences up. That's all it means. Broaden your horizon. Get past you're trying to find liberation struggle in your Bible. You're trying to find the solution to your problem in the Quran. You're trying to find it in your little blackism. I don't read the white man shit. You're trying to find it in these little circles and these little islands, and you look like a damn fool. Anybody will tell you, any lover of freedom, anybody fighting for their life will tell you no weapon is off limits. Why? If I'm fighting for my life and I see a rock, I'm gonna grab the rock, the bottle, the butter knife, I'll grab a stick it, lick a stick and put it on your fucking head. I don't care. I'll paper cut you. Ha!
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use everything I can as a weapon, and only an idiot would tell you France Fanon. Look up France Fanon. France Fanon says you have no right. No one has any right. In Wretches of the Earth says no one has any right to tell a man how he should fight for his freedom. They were asking France Fanon, this was in the chapter when they were asking about the equation of violence in the revolutionary struggle. At what point is violence necessary? Or if violence to that degree is ever necessary. And France Fanon in his reply, which I thought was ingenious, it's only a natural reply. It's a reply of a black man. He said that no one should tell anyone how to obtain their freedom, what to use in their liberation struggle, how violent to be. No one outside of the liberation struggle should put a meter on the violence or what tools or instruments people use to free themselves. Like I said, I'm not a reformist. I personally am not a reformist. But I advocate and I push and I try to inspire and motivate my brothers and sisters who participate in the political system to radicalism. I try to encourage them to push the craziest freaking law, like we're talking about here. This pig, Jason Van Dyke, he sounds like some type of Van Dyke. Yeah,
Van
it
Dyke.
sounds like a fucking SS, doesn't it? Van
Van
Dyke.
Dykenstein. Yeah.
Van Dykenstein. Sauerkraut eating bitch.
I'm done.
You 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 strudel eating sucker. So we find radical laws, man. We should push. I believe that the history between the black community and the police has been documented enough to prove that this relationship is beyond your sensitivity training. It's beyond all of this other bullshit. That it is a culture that exists within policing in America,
Mhm.
and that should it happen, and that officer be found guilty, automatically a federal hate crime. Automatically a federal hate crime. I feel like you can't afford to have no bad day as a police officer. I feel like you can't afford to have a bad day as a police officer. I heard someone say one time, and he was absolutely right. Would you settle from that from a doctor if you went into surgeon that I had a bad day and you're having a triple bypass?
Right.
Doctor always has to be up on his game.
That's true.
You
I
can't have a
mean,
bad day. You go ahead, just me.
no, I mean, because it's like they should be held to the same standards that everybody else is. Where it's like, I mean, I have several bad days, but I can't go kill anybody. So why should
Absolutely.
you?
Absolutely. And if you make those mistakes, like we're talking about this dizzy white broad, this crazy cave bitch who mistaked her pistol
For a
for
taser.
you
Yeah.
know, I mean, you know,
Yeah, that was crazy.
listen, when you put on that badge and you put on that uniform and you take that oath or you do whatever thing you do to pledge your allegiance to the state, then you what they I mean, it's just that you are no longer what? A civilian.
Right.
There should be a whole nother apparatus or a whole nother standard that you judge by, and you are. Here's the unfortunate part about that standard, and here's the unfortunate part about us revolutionaries not knowing who the real fight is against. So the true enemy keeps getting away with this bullshit. See, they have the revolutionary thing, and our fight is against the individual white man. That's what they have a lot of them thinking out here, I'll tell you. They have them thinking that every pasty, crusty, long-haired, hippie ass white boy is the enemy. You think I care about, huh?
Hmm.
What'd you say? Just me?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, you think I care about some cracker? Man, how many of us will twist a cracker into a pretzel, ball them up like aluminum foil? You're not worried about that pasty. When we say the white man is just an effigy of the state. It is an image. It is the embodiment of evil. And I think it's in when we say the devil or the white man or being the embodiment of evil, I don't think it's mischaracterization. Why? I think history would bear witness to that fact. I think history would vindicate the very thing that I'm saying. That the white man is when if we're saying devil as being like him, the white man, the embodiment of evil, and evil being those things that are destructive. Shit, bingo. Need I say more? This history bears witness. So we know that it's not the tangible person. We just use him. We say the white man because it's easier. It's historically what we've used, but it is the state. It is the state that allows the police to get away with this shit. But since you don't know how the state runs, since you're big advocates of capitalism and all this consumer capitalism that is, and all the rest of this foolishness and bullshit, You allow the state to get away with this. You don't know that the police are supposed to be in your neighborhood to serve. It's supposed to be to serve and protect. Not like Ice Cube said, serve, protect, and break a nigga's neck. It's supposed to be serve and protect the public. But since the state is an instrument of capitalism, of imperialism, and every other thing that is the enemy to the freedom of the people, and for black people, we'll just say the state. You know what the state is. You know what the state is. You have a direct relationship with the state. Many of you, many of us receive aid from the state. Many of us have been held by the state. Many of us have had our children taken by the state. A lot of you Negroes know what the state is. Don't act like you don't know who I'm talking about, state. Y'all know the state. State stay in your business. And you know these aspects of the state, and the police is an apparatus of the state. The police is not to protect you. The police is there to make sure that the property owners, the private property owners, capitalism, baby, that their property is secured. They come and move you along. You've been living in that neighborhood all your life. You're 2-3 generations from that neighborhood. Your grandmama lived there while your auntie used to play right there. Police roll up, whoop, keep it moving, because they put a Starbucks next door. Keep it moving. Grew up right there.
Hash browns.
You've been hash browns. Them joints sounding good. I made them mute, Mike. My bad. Somebody cooking. You know so we know the state. We have to begin to get in the mindset. This is why they came against the Panthers. This is what the Panthers scared them, because the Panthers pointed out who the enemy was. But in order to fight against the enemy, you point out who the enemy is, and in order to make you feel good about yourself and give you the ability to begin to stand up to your enemy, you have to learn self-sufficiency and independence. And this is what the Panthers started giving us with the refurbishing the shoe program, the SAFE program, Seniors Against Fearful Environment, the busing to prison program. And the most famous one, or let the state tell it, infamous one, is the Feed the People program. All are tools of the state, with one exception, black men, even those black men. I agree. A lot of things are tools of the state. Ace, you got to come on sometimes or break that statement down. So yeah, and that's the big and small of it. So the big and small of it is not so much like, I do believe certain aspects of the culture are not only necessary, but are super advantageous, super inspirational and motivational, but not so much that it has to be the be all, sum all. To me, that's like religion. It's like anything else, because like I said, and I said all that to say that anything that starts to take our attention from who the true enemy is, which is the state, and how to fight against it. How do you begin to combat the state?
Well, I've heard people in the past talk about non-participation. I've heard a lot, especially going through SVDL, the Argument League. And I know we talked about Blue versus Anon. I know we talked about that a lot, you and I, Yanga. And,
yeah, I've heard that non-participation. I don't fully understand. Do you understand something about it? Break it down to me. Do you know anything?
I got the same gist that you got out of it. When you watched it for the first time, I watched it for the first time, and I didn't even know there was a push for non-participation until that day. So, like I said, when Blue broke it down, it was an interesting debate. I'm still not fully grasping it, is what I'm saying.
Right. I
can't say that I disagree with it or agree, because I can't disagree with or agree with something I'm still not fully grasping.
Right.
I'm on the fence.
like how it, like you said when it first was presented, how it sounds, absolutely non-participation, man. Sign
Right.
me up. Where do we get to?
Yeah.
And then when I asked, well, how does that work? And they were like, well, don't participate. And I'm
And I
like,
believe Lex is a proponent for that too, man. I
yeah,
believe,
yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah. But I
he didn't do
still,
a good job. And that was where we
right.
got more confused because I was like, well, how's it work? And he was like, well, you don't participate. And I'm like, and he's like, well, everybody has to do it. And it just got a little far fetched to me. Not to knock it, he
Hey,
just didn't explain it. And then when it starts to get, far fetched, then that's when I think a lot of times these
well,
ideologies.
that's where the
Go ahead.
trouble comes in because if everybody's not on one accord, like I said, being a revolutionary, I'm open up for ideas, but I couldn't really grasp it. And when you have people grasping trouble being on one accord with a concept, then it becomes difficult to execute because my thing is that if there's a plan or if there's a strategy, we have to be all in agreement and all on at least on one accord with it. And then if we're not concise or clear about non-participation, like I said, I still am struggling with it. That's why I said I'm not for it or against it. I still haven't grasped the concept of it. So
Mhm.
it's difficult for me to speak against it or for it because I'm still, like you said, Lex explained it, Blue explained it. Now I think Blue explained it better than Lex because of the format he was using, but I still, like I said, I think Blue is probably one of the best people to explain it, and I didn't get it.
Okay. Okay. I
So,
don't, yeah. I mean, they tried it. Like I said, I think I was turned off by uh, how objective it was, how when it got down to the nitty gritty, how it became very philosophical. I believe that when
well,
we
yeah,
talk
black
about,
people tend to do that. Like we tend to philosophize and sound
yeah,
good just for the sake of sounding good. Me, I'm a nationalist. So I don't really. I want to know the end game right away. You know how impatient I am. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right,
I want to know the
right.
end game.
What's the
Y'all
end
get on
game?
there.
Right,
Y'all be talking to Asiatic and all these people, even up, and be sounding all grandiose. And I'd be like, "Fuck all that. What is the end game?" And I get
right.
frustrated because I don't give me a fluff salad. Hell, I'm already a vegan, man. I don't need more lettuce. I need to know the end game. I
Right.
need to know the end
Okay.
game. Like I need to
Right.
know what this looks like.
Right.
And that's how, like I said, and thanks to you, shout out to you, Yanger, for saying that, recognizing how I seep out fanaticism. Yeah, man, because I mean, I'm looking for the end game immediately. I didn't know who the fanatic was at the time, but we talked about that off air. I'm not gonna mention it right now until the time is right. But yeah, I'm not gonna mention any names right now. But when he
Right.
comes on, when you do your special show, I'm definitely gonna address that. Yeah.
Man, one thing I say, you are the fanatic sniffer outer. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
because I want an end game, brother. I want an end game because black people, you got to understand that Malcolm, when he was here, he was talking about black nationalism being better than white supremacy.
yes, yes,
And he laid out the foundation because you keep telling people refer back to Malcolm X and black nationalism. And one of the things he said was to, put religion aside because religion is not a uniting factor. And the brother, I'm just like, how the hell he gonna try to convert Yanga? Because Yanga gets it. It's modern day black nationalism. So, I mean, it would seem, and I guess that little conquer, that little victory with the Hebrew Israelites, he felt like, well, hell, if I could change them, I could change these people. And you said, no, you got Nandy in his camp, you got me, the atheists, so no, it ain't happening. And I hate one thing I do hate, Yang, and I'm gonna say
what's
this,
that?
brother, is that, and you're probably the only person that always recognizes the both chapters of the Black Panther, and when people refer to the West Coast chapter, they tend to lead about a whole lot of important things and why we were there in the first goddamn place.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me angry. It makes me angry because they try to encompass both the East Coast and West Coast chapters together, and it's like, no, we thought differently. We were on a
Yeah.
whole different level. You know, we
Yeah.
were on a whole different. When Malcolm X came to LA, he knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? He knew how to talk to a lot of the brothers there. You know what I'm saying? When
Mhm.
Martin Luther King came, man, we said, man, you got to get up out of here. But they
Yeah.
don't tell you that. They don't talk about that. They don't never tell
Mm-mm.
about it. Yeah, we like, no, we all that goddamn turn the other cheek and we shall overcome some. Man, no, we're not trying to hear that shit.
Mhm.
Remember, you know, people think that the gang movements start with the Crips and Bloods. No, man, we've had
Yeah. No, it go way
it
back.
goes way back, right?
Way
So,
back.
way
Social
back.
clubs. You know, we were
Absolutely.
talking about that one time before, man, that they were social clubs. You know, when we had
Mhm,
that mass migration out west, up north, Midwest,
mhm.
you already had immigrants there. I know
Right.
out west, you know, Laura, if not just the white boys, also the Hispanics. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So now
Oh,
black
absolutely.
people are coming in, an influx of these black people are coming in, and the young men had to hang together, especially parents are working in the plants,
Right.
nobody is there. So these social clubs developed,
Mhm.
you know, and that's where we get that from. All the way up to really, like, I'm not gonna say they didn't fight and all of this good stuff, but we really don't see that type of gang activity coming in, that type of tearing up the neighborhood into the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So the crackhead, yeah, the
Yeah,
crack,
the
yeah,
crack epidemic.
crack
All the
epidemic,
way
yeah.
up, coming from being a Crip, coming from like Crip history, all the way to even when they say the big one of the founders, Raymond Washington, who
Mhm.
was about throwing those hands, he
Right.
wasn't about really the guns, was murdered. Even then, because you had a whole new mindset come in, and the Crips being an offshoot or being like what they like that film talks about bastards to the party. A lot of Crips being the children of Panthers or being influenced by the Panthers,
Right.
that type of thing, what came under the same attack with the chemical warfare. A lot of our leaders were locked up and murdered. So you have to
Right.
understand that only thing a lot of the younger members were left with were symbols and things like that. But a lot of the true meaning of it, a lot of the meat of it, a lot of what it initially started for and what we were about were
Mhm.
behind bars with the OGs. And when the OGs came home, they didn't recognize what it had morphed into. And a lot of the young homies didn't want to hear it. We're making money. How the OG going, how you gonna come home after 10, 15? Yeah, you the big homie. But now, look, the dude you left that was 10, now he's 25. He running the set, sitting on money and this and that. It's a whole different vibe. So,
Mhm.
and it goes back to like what you said, even with the Panthers, East Coast and West Coast, and a lot of the history not being known. And that's by design. If they can keep, remember, we go back to Martin Delaney, where when we talk about
Right.
black nationalism, if they can keep, what's up, Amir? If they can keep us away from a certain history, away from certain incidents, away from certain individuals, we will, it's like I said, informed people make informed decisions. With that data, we will be surprised how the game would change. And
Yeah,
I
but
mean, go ahead.
even when you mentioned Carlos, part of the UNIA, and then what was the tenets of Martin Delaney? I mean, because like you said, it seemed like uh, Garvey came in with the whole one guy, one aim, one destiny. But what was it beforehand, and why? Like you said, let's touch on the history. Why? Uh, Carlos came up with a different slogan, and you know what I'm
Okay.
saying. I mean, it seemed like
Yeah.
it even manifested even before Malcolm really like Malcolm just he basically etched it in stone
Hmm.
with the speeches,
Hmm.
but it seemed like the sentiment was always there. That's why I was telling Nundy the other day, you know, we have certain terms that the Greeks might have invented the term, but the concept was always there.
Hmm.
So it seemed like with black nationalism that the concept was there.
Yeah.
And I like how Unc came on and was saying, now Unc killed it today. Oh man, they try to get on Unc, and he's like,
Yeah.
well, it was invented by the white man. He's like, well, so is the internet, so is the computer, so is this, so that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
classic Unc, man, classic Unc,
Classic on. Classic
classic
on.
Unc. That's that he took it back. He took
Yes.
it back, man. And yeah, shout out to Unc, man. He took it back, and I was like, damn. I wanted to come on there, but I was driving. I said, man, yeah, well, hell, get off the internet. The white man made the internet, so get off of it. Get off the show. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah.
he killed it with that. That was a
Yeah.
great comeback, man. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that was classic.
I'll give the man on that. But
Yeah,
you were saying, I think you were trying to make a point with it.
yeah. The point I was making with it is that the East Coast
Mhm.
uh people seem to always, and I don't know if it's an arrogance or it's just, I don't know what it is, but brush over why we were different.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the point that I tend to keep, because I see sometimes I feel like I'm repping the West by myself, bro. You know what I'm saying? The true West, the true South Central LA, Bunchy Carter, goddamn Geronimo Chichaga. It seemed like I got them on my shoulders because they
Yeah.
weren't with all that culture nationalist stuff. They
Yeah.
weren't
Yeah.
with all that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Yeah.
we I got to represent that every chance I get. And hell, I'm just gonna call out a name. I'm from the West Coast. Asiatic Lion. You know what I'm saying? He recognizes some of the black nationalist history, but it seemed like he only takes from the East Coast side of that history, brother. I'm just gonna keep it
Absolutely.
100. Yeah, so that is my point. That is my point. So I do want to get a chance to sit down with him and pick his brain and say, hey, there was a West Coast faction too, and this is how we felt. So how
Mhm.
does your version of Islam unite a whole generation? I'm talking about pre-Huey. I'm talking about, yeah, none of them weren't with none of that religious stuff. None of them. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? The goddamn
Mhm.
Slawsons, the goddamn Warlocks, the goddamn tall hats, all of them. You know what I'm saying? We talking pre like 20 years before the Crips, like 20 years before Raymond Washington,
Mhm.
generation before that. So what are you talking about? These are all black
Yeah.
people here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And there's descendants of these black people. So what are you talking about? So that's my point, Yeager. That is my
It,
point. Like,
it's
yeah.
tough. It's tough. That part of history, I'm gonna tell you what, that part of history is tough because that is the birth, or I'm not, if not the birth, I don't want to overstep it, but really where revolution as far as related to black people in America really got its prominence, really gained its exposure.
Speak.
The,
Speak on
the
it.
civil rights was in the South. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So, but that part of, integration, everything that was in the South, that part of the revolution was birthed on the West Coast. And it was
Mhm.
birthed in such a, you California weirdos. You know what I'm saying? It was birthed without religion.
Right.
And that in itself for black people is kind of shocking, especially over here on the East. That is kind of, it's a funny thing. And so when Huey introduced, or when Revolution got its prominence,
Mhm.
Huey, I believe, when the Panthers practiced black nationalist activities, their language was international language, though. It was internationalism. And I don't think that really caught on, and it still hasn't caught on with many black people.
Right.
When Huey and them introduced it, though they were doing black nationalist activities, sickle cell anemia,
Right.
feeding the black hood, protecting the black hood, the language was a language of unifying black people, or comparing black people's national struggle to international struggle. And black
Mhm.
people didn't speak or don't speak the language of Marxist Leninists, socialist language. The
Mhm.
closest they came to it was communism, as espoused by these white communists that would use W.E.B. Du Bois,
Right.
uh, one, um, what's the homosexual brother that was with Dr. King, Rustin, I believe it was. that was a member of the U.S. Communist Party. Hell, son, you know how they get down. You remember they sent the boys to try to recruit us? I know you're not forgetting when they took us to dinner.
Oh yeah. The Revolutionary Communist Party.
Revolutionary Party
Yeah, and I forgot the
tried to
brother's
recruit us.
name. Damn, what was the brother's name? Yeah, they tried.
Dixon.
Yep,
Dixon.
Yep, sure did, man.
They called out their number 2 man. The
Yeah.
Bob Avakian is the
Mm-hmm.
chairman of the Revolutionary United States Communist Party.
Mm-hmm.
His number 2 man is Dixon. Is it Carl Dixon? Something
Carlos
like
Dixon.
that.
Yep, Carlos Dixon. Yep, that's
Carlos
it. Yep.
Dixon,
Carlos
the
Dixon.
number
Yeah,
2
man.
man, a brother.
Yeah, a brother.
And Son
Sharp
and I are
brother.
going so hard. I got to give Nundy her props because I think Nundy went with us one day to that meeting at the Communist Party. And remember they said
Oh
about you
yeah. I do remember. Damn, I
remember
do
that?
remember that. Yeah.
And they
Oh
said
wow.
something about Huey, and she think
Ooh-wee.
she's married to Huey,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
just oh, you saying Huey and what? Brrr.
Yeah, yeah. She killed him with that,
Oh,
boy. Yeah.
so we've been debating for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they had a nerve to bring up Huey.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
don't
they brought
y'all
him.
know Nundy is
Oh,
married to Huey?
God, she's married to Huey.
Yeah, she
So
married
when
to
that cracker brought up Huey
Huey.
at their
Damn.
meeting,
Yeah.
man, she tore into their ass.
She showed
So
She
anyway,
showed
we
me.
were
Oh
down here
damn.
giving them. We down here. We down here giving the communists hell. And
Mhm.
we giving them so much hell, they sent that number 2, Carlos Dixon, a black guy.
Yep, that's right.
They tried to wine and dine Son and I. So we're
Yeah,
sitting
they
there,
sure
and
did.
Son and I were eating, and we're talking about black nationalism, and he's talking about communism, and he asked us, he's like, "Yo, so why are you guys nationalists? Why don't you come over to the communists?" And Son and I sitting there eating. We stopped eating. We said, "We're about to ask you the same thing.
That's right.
How the hell did you get?"
We had a Mexican standoff.
Yeah, the Mexican standoff. How did you get with them? We were about to
Right.
tell you to come home, brother.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he went into how he met a Vakian and he was one of the small. Yeah, right. All right. But anyway, it's that type of thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I felt flattered that this man would. I mean, I don't know, that trying to recruit us and we trying to recruit him, and it was just like, goddamn, But like he does what he do, we do what we do.
exactly. And
So,
to a degree, I'm not gonna front. To a degree, it's an honor.
yeah,
You
well,
see,
yeah,
number 2, you tried to pull us. That just means we were making inroads to to what we were trying to accomplish, to black nationalism.
absolutely.
So I said all that to say that I said
Oh
all
man,
that to say that not a lot of us are versed in that. There's not a lot of people saying that, outside me, you, and the sister, we could have took and argued the Revolutionary Communist Party
yeah,
to such a degree that they're gonna fly in their number, because they flew him in. He's not from Atlanta.
no,
That they fly in their number 2 to try to recruit you and I to the Revolutionary Communist Party, or to the Revolutionary Communist Party USA.
Oh man, I remember that.
Yeah.
Damn, I remember that. Hey, Che, what's up, man? What's I see in the chat
What's
there,
up,
Che?
Jay?
Yeah,
Sunshine, everybody. Yeah. So
yeah, sunshine. Hey,
that's what, and I believe that's so. I don't think our people were really hip to that. When Huey was laying down like that, I think that it was real heavy. Huey, George Jackson, them, all of them were real heavy on that. As opposed to when you get to the East Coast. And I can see how the nationalists moving, even though they weren't cultural nationalists, they didn't believe that, okay, let's just put everything in Afrocentricism.
right.
It's going to take some real revolutionary action. They were, however, attached to culture because this is the East Coast. This is what Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X.
Well, hold on,
You know
hold
what
on,
I'm saying? I mean,
hold on. Because we embrace Malcolm X too. He's the one that brought us to nationalism. Now,
he yeah he didn't he brought you to nationalism and also culturalist to nationalism. The same way he said it's cool for atheists to be in black nationalism is the same way he said it's cool for Muslims. Just put your
no,
religion in your pocket.
I agree. But didn't you guys already have it with Elijah Muhammad?
We had religious black nationalism. You would be a Muslim black nationalist. Malcolm said you
And
could be a Muslim
that's where a
and
lot
be a
of
black
those people,
nationalist.
that's where they get stuck, especially a lot of those Elijah Muhammadites. They get stuck. And in fact, hell, the Farrakhanites, they get stuck too. They
Yeah.
both stuck.
See, so Malcolm was saying you can be a Muslim and a black nationalist and not be in the Nation of Islam, basically.
Right.
You can be a
Basically.
Christian and a black nationalist, not be
That's
Father
right.
Divine, basically.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? That's what he
Facts.
was saying. So that's
Right.
what united the atheists with the Muslims under black nationalism.
Right.
That was the only way, he made that the predominant factor.
Right. Right. But again, you got people who are stuck, like
Yeah.
Afro-Asiatic, man, who I like said I think he studied a portion of black nationalism and then just kind of brushed over the West Coast, brushed over the West Coast, but didn't really understand until Black Sun came about and said, hey,
Right.
hey, these people, you're gonna learn about the ins and outs of who these people really are, man, and what they really believed in and how they were drawn to it. We weren't drawn through Elijah Muhammad. We didn't know who the fuck Elijah Muhammad was. We didn't give a fuck. Yeah, we knew who he was. We didn't give a fuck. We didn't give a fuck about goddamn Martin Luther King. But it wasn't until Malcolm came to Los Angeles because LA was his regular stomping ground.
Mm-hmm.
And he broke down black nationalism and our ears perked up like, yeah, that's it right there. So and that's why I have to tell these old timers, these old Elijah Mohanians and so forth, and I'm not gonna mention any names, but you know who I'm talking about. I had to tell her, look, don't talk bad about Malcolm. Don't do that. I know things were different back in your time and this and that, and y'all feel like y'all own Malcolm, but you don't.
Absolutely.
We're embracing the black nationalist Malcolm, the one who was a black nationalist before he joined the Nation of Islam. Now, see, people they don't want to talk about that either.
No. Everyone loves to claim. That's one of the beauties of our dear brother Malcolm.
Absolutely.
I call Malcolm the black nationalist. And this is no disrespect to Malcolm, but you know how Darwin has the chart of evolution.
Oh, absolutely.
With the going through while we were just talking about the other day, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, I call Malcolm that. Malcolm is, if Darwin had a chart of, we had a chart of black nationalist evolution, Malcolm would be the figure we use.
He would be the Homo sapien of today.
Yes. He would be the Homo sapien, but we would use every form of him. We would use his what's the first Cro-Magnon or some bullshit? I don't know.
Homo erectus, the one that me and Mandy. Homo erectus.
His Homo erectus would be niggerism. When he was Detroit Red.
Right.
When he was, out there doing that foolishness. Then what's the next one after that?
Then I think it's Cro-Magnon, then Neanderthal, then
these would be the various phases. Then he would have the Nation of Islam phase, or what I call the religious phase. That many say, maybe yourself and a few people like you, son, were fortunate enough to go to sidestep. But that very religious phase, and a lot of black nationalists now have gone through that phase. Nation of Islam, Black Hebrew, some type of and when I call that,
I would say I think I went through the phase with y'all musically because I listened to the same music, the R&B rock.
I was gonna say that.
I did listen to because now you gotta remember. See, a lot of people forget that it wasn't until the LA Dream Team came out we were listening to New York rap. We were listening to the Run DMCs, and so a long time we were listening to a lot of the East Coast music. It wasn't until that's why I get tickled by that movie Straight Outta Compton, because you had the dudes come straight into LA with their gangles and all that shit, and Ice Cube and them, they kicked them out. They said, man, you got to get up out of here with that shit. We ain't buying that shit no more. So basically that was a whole struggle too. We don't talk about, you know what I'm saying? How, they would have concerts on the West Coast, and we had our own talents. And so there was always beefs with these out of town New Yorkers coming in and, trying to, they did the same thing here in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? People from New Jersey, New York, try to dominate down here at the colleges. And I mean, I guess that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show. I'm rambling about that. But what I'm saying is that, there was a certain arrogance that came along with that. with the music, like, well, we make the music and you guys bow down to us. And we're like, oh no. Okay, we're gonna have to start making our own music now. We're gonna have to start making our own music now because these people over here are tripping. They really tripping, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes I think with Negroes, when they get too much power, they feel like they want to call the shots, Asiatic. And sometimes you got to put your foot down and say, no, 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 no. We got some people over here that are already doing this, that, and the other. And that's what, like I said, I feel like I have to do with the West Coast chapter of the Black Panthers of that time.
Mhm.
You know? Yeah. And even now, I mean, I know you had you and Nundy talked about how Malik Zulu Shabazz had a run in with the people of South Central. Like they ran him up out of there. And I totally understood that. I said, yeah, I get it. I get it. Cause you're gonna come with that. Cause first of all, he's a Farrakhanian and he trying
Yeah.
to slip it into South Central. When you think I have a radar for bullshit. I'm one of the nice ones.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something.
I'm one of the
And
nice ones, brother.
I went to California though. When I went to California, I was on something different. I'm not gonna front. I was on making California was my mecca then. I need to go to my hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was going to my hood. I was on some different shit. Shouts out to them Playboys, baby GC.
What's up?
But anyway, what's up? Yeah, California was a whole different beast. I don't know how y'all live like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you live like that. Yeah.
Break it down, man. Everybody probably
Man,
confused
I
on what
was
you mean.
there.
Break it down.
You talk about, I didn't know what people were talking about. You talk about a ghetto, but I don't know how you live in a war zone constantly. And you can see it, you see it on television, but you don't get it until
Hold
you're
on,
there.
hold on. I gotta ask. Just me. You know what a ghetto bird is? Just me.
She might be doing something.
Okay,
The
no
ghetto
problem.
bird. Well, I
Yeah,
have
the
to
ghetto
tell
bird.
them what the ghetto bird is, man.
The ghetto bird is a police helicopter. That's the ghetto
Y-
bird.
Yo, the pterodactyl.
You're right,
When this
right?
joker came through, and it's not like on the movies. I don't know if people know how bright that light. It's like
Ooh.
daytime
Yeah.
when it hits you, and when you're doing this almost every other hour type of, and brothers be like still moving, like okay. I'm like I'm freezing, they light it. I stop in my spot, brother, still walking. I'm like, yo, what the?
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, when you talk about a war zone mentality, but it has cultivated with them a very tribal mentality. Our hood was Trump tight. Our street was Trump tight, that I went to visit. So it tells you to take about it. I was just looking for a visit. As a visitor, I don't want to step on no toes, man. It was crazy.
Right.
But I say this. I want to go back to say what we initially talking about when we talked about Malcolm saying, "Put that in your pocket. Put religion in your pocket," and
Mhm.
us in allowing everybody. What Malcolm did at that particular time was allow everybody to use Black nationalism uh, as the ultimate
Uniting
cohesive.
factor. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely, and it was groundbreaking at that time. Hell, we
It
see
was.
how difficult it is now for people to put aside certain religions,
Right.
culturally held practices, and traditions.
Mhm. Right.
Even if they see that it is causing a division within the
Right.
community.
Well,
So
I'm gonna break down something. And that's why I mean, shout out to Chris. And this includes Islam too, Yanga. He showed where he was showing the Hebrew Israelites, and he was showing where Islam, where they condone slavery in the Bible. They condone slavery with Islam, and for
yeah,
people who are religious not to like just cognitively just outright ignore that there's a mental problem there, son.
yeah, that's what religion will do to you.
It will do that. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, it condones slavery. It says, you know what? The Hebrew Israelites, they can enslave the Canaanites. And
Yeah,
Chris showed
religion.
it. And he
Well,
killed
like,
Yara. He killed Yara on that.
yeah,
Yara
well,
couldn't.
religion will do that to you.
Right.
Religion, what religion does, religion assuages guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Religion will assuage your guilt. Religion will allow you to commit atrocities against other human beings because they don't believe as you. It puts them in a different light. It takes them out of the human category.
Right.
This is what religion does. Yeah, they will enslave you because they don't see you as a human. They don't see you as being one who deserves
Right.
the right to evolve naturally without
Mm-hmm.
intentional or willful obstruction or hindrance. They don't see
Right.
that for you.
Right.
They don't see that you know better. Look what they did to the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody over here hollering about I'm indigenous. I'm indigenous. You might be. You
Right.
just might. You might be because one of your relatives may have raped another one of your relatives. Indians
Mm-hmm.
owned slaves.
Right. But another thing Chris pointed out too. Now, mind you, Chris is a spiritualist. He's not an atheist. He
Okay.
pointed out, he said, all religions have a caste system.
Yes.
Let me say
Yes.
that again. All religions have a caste system.
Yes. Absolutely. This is why I question people who push religion or promote theocracies
Right.
or religion being the guiding philosophy or guiding ideology in when governing the people
Mm-hmm.
because of that caste system. And the people who promote it the most are people who have studied the most. So I always ask, like we do, son, what's our thing? What's your end game?
Where's
Fuck
your end
all the
game?
bullshit.
Yeah.
What's your long-term goal?
Yeah, because and again, I hate to keep bringing up Asiatic because he ain't nothing here, but he knows how to razzle dazzle. See,
Right.
see the bloodline, see the DNA, and the DNA of the bloodline. You know they were black. I don't give a fuck if they were black. What's the end
So
game?
right. What's your end game? And
Right.
so when we ask, why do we ask these people their end games? Because you find in most religious people, like you said, all
None in the
religion.
building. None in the building.
Oh, nothing in the bill. What's up, Queen? Like all religions, if not all, the majority of religions have that hierarchy. And so,
Exactly.
like I said, there again, I question the people that push and promote it. Why? Because I asked them, with all this studying stuff, in the end game, where do you stand? Okay, we know God is at the top of the pyramid, and then maybe the prophet or whoever received the message, but where do you stand in
Right.
relation to the people? And believe me, the people pushing and promoting and propagating these theocracies and these religions as the guiding ideological force for moving the masses of the people see themselves in some administrative or authoritative position.
Well, shout out to Nanny because she had Judah on her show, and Judah was like, "Oh, y'all motherfuckers need to die." Oh, I'm like, thank you, Judah, thank you,
I hate to even, you know what? He's
thank
such an
you, Judah.
idiot. He is such an
But he's a
idiot.
religious idiot.
He is, and he's such an idiot. I hate to even equate him with the Hebrews, but you're right. Fanaticism at his highest. I hate to even do that to him.
Hey,
That
but
is, that shows what that fanaticism at its highest. And when
at its
fanaticism
highest,
maxes out of logic, when it reaches the point where it can no longer be rational, you
right?
see that type of shit. Now, if he was in the Middle East, he'd strap a bomb to his fucking chest.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
exactly what that was. Yeah, fuck all y'all. Blue. That, that's
Right.
exactly what that was.
That's
That was
exactly
suicide.
that what it went down. Let me drop a
That
link
whole
for Nanny here.
outburst, that fucking meltdown he had, that was a suicide bomber shit.
That
And
was
that's fanaticism.
right.
That is your fanaticism firsthand. Those are the people that are telling you that you should put God first and allow their version of God or understanding of God to govern your life. That's a motherfucker telling you that person there. That's the type of person that is telling you
But
that,
we got a lot of Judas, man. Come
hey man,
on now. Yeah,
touch,
you keep
them.
acting like Judah's just this one special case. No,
No,
he's the
it's
common.
like you said, that's fanaticism.
Right.
Anywhere you find fanaticism, anywhere you find people pushing it, some people just reach their peak a little quicker than others.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's always the end result of it when you don't agree with them. There is no room for compromising with a fanatic. There's, there isn't. It's their way or death.
That's why, yeah, or death, yeah, straight
Yeah,
up. That's it, people. Y'all heard it here on
that's it.
Yanga's show. It's either their way, because they're going to be ones interpreting Yahweh, not you.
Hmm. Hmm.
There, people like Judah, people like Battle Axe,
Yep.
people like Akmalax. Shout out to Akmalak and Battle Axe. Shout out to Judah, but they're going to be calling the shots. People like Asiatic Lion, they're going to be calling the shots. God only talks to them.
Yeah.
That's how theocracies work.
Yeah, fanaticism. And
Mhm.
fanaticism in all things. Here's the sad part. It isn't just fanaticism in that. It's fanaticism in our our love and our loyalty and our blind allegiance and participation in this system. It's the fanaticism to apathy, to not getting involved with anything that has to do with you directly that allows this
Oh,
this
Judah clap back. Yeah, he called Chris a patriot and the white man's bitch and this and that. I get that. I get where he was going with that.
yeah.
Chris said, I'm an American. I heard all that. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But you got to show where your system is better, Judah. And Malcolm X was showing where the modern form of black nationalism, where we were going to build upon and evolve to a better system. But you can't go back into a theocracy. A theocracy is not going to beat the white man's system. It's
Yeah,
just
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's just
Absolutely.
not going to happen. I don't know why these Negroes keep thinking their theocratic rule is going to be better than the white man's rule. Like, no, dude, where are we getting that at? Like, I remember.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, you know how that goes. If we put black on it. But like I
Right.
said, I'm even to that extent of expanding the fanaticism to patriotism to that degree. Patriotism to the degree that we don't see imperfection in the system. See, the
No, I
fanaticism,
agree. I agree. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, fanaticism is just that subtle.
Okay, but okay, the American fanaticism. Let me ask you a
Hmm.
question.
Hmm.
Is it a now we both agree that it's a form of defeatism. We will agree on that, right?
Depends on yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Okay, so like like your Taz's, yeah, Taz, I called your name.
Yeah.
You like your
Yeah.
Taz's, but like in Chris, now I wouldn't equate Taz with Chris. I believe in
I wouldn't either. I haven't heard, from what I've heard of Chris, I haven't really heard anything that much of I'd really disagree with Chris. I mean, he and I tease and go back and forth on some shit playing back, but like I know he's like he said he's fucking with me on nepotism and things
right.
of that nature. But I haven't
I'm glad he
really,
cleared that up. I'm glad he
yeah,
glad he cleared that
I'm too right.
up.
But I haven't really, and maybe I'll take the opportunity sometimes to go just really sit and listen to his channel. But I haven't really heard much of Chris that will say that I've really disagreed with. I don't, from what I've heard, and I may be putting my foot in my mouth, but from what I've heard, I haven't heard much that I disagree with. So
Right.
I wouldn't equate him and Taz.
No, absolutely not.
Oh,
No. When I say
yeah,
Taz just has a 100% defeatist attitude. Chris, he is a patriot. He loves America, but I believe if you show him a better system, he will go for it. But the thing is, and I don't like speaking for other grown men, but I think like most patriots like himself, they don't see a better system. Like you're not showing them
yeah,
a better system.
yeah, yeah.
Like Boko Haram is not a better system. Like
Go around.
right. Like
Yeah,
these types of things, these are
yeah,
not better systems.
absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
and then they keep asking me, "Oh, Black Son, you keep talking about a theocracy." Yeah, there are functioning theocracies right now as we speak, and
Mhm.
then people are trying to get over here. We're not trying to get over there. So again, if you're gonna present a better system than the white man's system, because I'm all for a better system, right? I'm all for it, right? I'm a revolutionary, but
Mhm.
it can't take us back to goat herding. It can't do that.
I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. about the white man system.
Mhm.
Um,
I know, and you always talk about it gives us the illusion. I agree. I
right,
never
right.
disagree
So
with you on that,
it
brother.
depends on what it depends. Like I said, I haven't really heard him speak. It depends on what perspective. Like if he doesn't feel like anything needs to be done, then shit, hell yeah, well, he and I are gonna disagree.
Well,
You know,
that's why I don't want to speak for Chris. That's why
yeah.
I'm a definitely next time I go on his show, I'm gonna extend the invitation. And hey, because he does his show early, so yeah, he's gonna have
Yeah,
to come on your show. But
yeah.
no, I mean, but no, he hasn't said anything. But see, dude, but I'm gonna tell you something about Chris, and I will say this:
Mhm.
he thinks about what he says before he says it.
Yeah.
He
I,
already has shit planned out like that. That's why he be destroying. Oh, wait a minute. Shaking my goddamn head. Oh, Nundy. Wait a minute. That's why I'm not trying to put Chris in no hot water. She said shaking my damn head. Listen. All I'm saying is, damn, that I'm distracted now. Goddamn. Nundy put that in the damn thing. Oh, now you gotta come on now. You gotta come to the panel. What did I say? What did I say? Hopefully, none will come on the panel. So what I'm saying is that we got to. I think people like, and I'm just guessing. People like because I've talked to a lot of patriots, similar,
mhm.
and you got to show them a better system. And if you're talking about a theocratic rule, no, that's not gonna cut it.
Right.
So
The
that's what I'm
problem with,
saying.
but see, the problem with, the patriotism or and then, what do we call it, patriotism? But the problem with advocating for America in the state that she's in now,
Hmm.
it's, when you say show them a better system,
I know it's an
you
evolutionary
can,
process. I
right.
agree
And you
with
can
that.
show them one on paper,
Uh
but if
huh.
they demand it, they say, well, yeah, I need to see it practical. I need to see it tangible. I need to see it out. Then that goes into really understanding the whole war between the people and the one percenters, and
Right. That's right.
the war between the people and the the capitalist imperialist machine.
Right.
And so, therefore, you're not going to have a lot of um, examples that aren't in some type of turmoil or conflict with the imperialist machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And especially when you're talking to black people, because black people are consumer capitalists. Black people
Facts.
receive the crumbs
Facts.
of anything. So when you start talking about international affairs and things and the exploitation of people and the destroying of the ecology of the earth and other things like that, a lot of that becomes um, very hard to, I'm not going to say grasp because I'm dealing with intelligent people, but grasp to a certain degree that you can break it down to see how it affects us as black people, because a lot of times shit affects us indirectly.
So why is it so easy for people to say, "Oh man, all we got to do is follow the laws and statutes of the Most High"? Like that is a very
Yeah,
common solution.
because they've been beat into that, by the white men. That translates into, if we follow the laws and statutes of the state. If you follow laws and statutes, period. Black people are good. If we, they've been following the laws and statutes of the state. So if they follow
Right.
the laws and statutes of this, we're told if you follow all the laws of America, that you have a shot at the American dream. Why
Right.
not? If I follow all the laws of this shit, I can go to heaven. I've
Mm-hmm.
been following laws. I've been giving over my will.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing. And we leave religion, and we can become patriotic and give our will over to uh if not Jesus Christ, Moses and Muhammad, Thomas
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson, George Washington, and Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we become religious in those particular ways. Our founding fathers, we begin to the same way we impose ourselves in the Bible, we begin to impose ourselves in American history.
Mm-hmm.
The fighting at such and such, the fighting. Well, Crispus Attucus was the first person
Right. First
in
one
the
get
Roman,
killed. Yeah.
and they killed him first. You know why they killed him first, don't you?
I don't know.
It's like, nigga, you know you ain't got nothing to do with this. Blah.
Okay.
Shot his ass first. He the loudest damn nigga. It always take a nigga. Yeah, we want to be, yeah, pow. Shit. Yeah,
God damn, yo.
shot his ass first. I'd have shot his ass first too. Then
Yeah.
you out here with all these damn white folks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's the credit you. He was the first one to die in the Revolutionary War. Niggas have been enslaved and all kinds of. Man, come on, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that.
Right,
The more
right.
attempt to tie us in, to engrade us,
The more
and not
ridiculous.
just
Yeah.
engrade us, but ingrate us
Mm-hmm.
to this corrupt land.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And we have to be mindful of those tricks. So though I'm a black nationalist, where I recognize the participation of black people, where I acknowledge my ancestors, I'm not one who really is big on going hard at the ancestors, even if I may have disagreed. I don't necessarily agree with what the Buffalo Soldiers did.
Right.
Nonetheless, I don't divorce myself from the actions of my ancestries or the things or the evolution and progression of my people that led to this point. We're the only people that want to do that.
Mm.
White America has the most atrocious history, and you don't find them distancing themselves from these monsters. In fact, they erect monuments of gratitude
Facts.
to these savages. But
That's
you
true.
let one of our people do something that is distasteful, and we're ready to, uh, man, overkill.
Mm-hmm.
And we get this from
Mm-hmm.
the cracker. The cracker overkills us. Like I said, you never find them going to those lengths or to those extremes to discredit, to denigrate,
Mm-hmm.
or downplay their so-called national heroes or historic heroes. Yet they
Mm-hmm.
go overboard because we buy into that shit. We let them do that. They go overboard when it comes to one of us. Listen, whether you like this man or not, a voice for a more positive black image, Bill Cosby, was fucking raked through the coals. And not only was he raked through the coals as a person, which later came back, he was acquitted and found guilty, and a lot of Negroes were ready to say, "See, told you why, because we can't, ain't nobody that good, can't nobody really be eating pudding pups and be that happy." Bill Cosby loved it. Leave that man alone. He wasn't bothering nobody. So not only did they rake him through the coals, not only did they belittle him and put his human uh, body through physical discomfort, they tried to discredit his works, man.
Right.
Man, this is Fat Albert.
Mm-hmm.
Who discredits Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids? Damn. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
don't remember.
Oh, hell,
Much
he tried to discredit Michael Jackson. So hey, you know.
you see what I'm saying? And we go for this
Mm-hmm.
because we bought into this Masonic figure shit so much that
Mm-hmm.
when our hero isn't Jesus the Christ, when a so-called role model or someone that we like doesn't fit this magnanimous, this fucking Masonic character
Mm-hmm.
we place on this unrealistic expectation that we place on human beings, we're ready to discredit everything they have
Mm. All right,
every
Lindy's on her way. She's on her way. She's on
on her
her
way.
way.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get over here. I'm about to tell her let's go to her station because I want to do this for another 15 minutes. Go grab me a bite and jump on her station. So Nundy, if you're listening, Queen, crank your station up. Let's go to your station and get this thing crunk. You know I'm the only hour or two guy, and I'm going on my second hour. Yeah, son. So that's one of the things, bro.
Yep.
We quick to throw everything away with our heroes and sheroes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No. I'm agreeing. I'm just looking. Yeah, I'm just. When you said that, I was remembering the Michael Jackson thing. Where I'm
Michael
just.
Jackson.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
you name it.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
we allow this. This is
And
what
you know
we
what killed me? What killed everybody, man. And we were like, no, Michael, no. Michael, I remember the interview was doing like, yeah, me and the kids, we go to bed together. And he give him Jesus juice. And,
Yep,
I remember
yep,
me and my home, we were like, no, Michael, don't
yep.
say that.
Oh man, listen, it didn't
Like,
surprise me.
yeah, it's
It didn't
Jesus
surprise
juice.
me. When Michael, I knew Michael
That's
was when this is integrate. Michael is just, we talking about that fanaticism. Is Michael was a fanatic.
right.
He was a fanatic integrationist.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
swear, I believe it. He's a fanatic integrationist. He wanted to look like him. He began to think like,
Yeah.
and the little babies, we have sleepovers.
Yeah, we
See,
have
now you thinking
sleepovers
like
too.
white folk. No grown damn black man finna have no sleepovers. Stop thinking like white folk, Mike.
I know.
Like, you can't be sleeping over with little children, let
Hell
alone
no.
white children.
Right.
Leave the babies alone, Mike.
Oh, no, it's okay. No, we do. We just
No,
have,
no,
we have
just don't.
sleepovers.
Listen, I knew the Negro was in trouble when the
Yeah.
Negro moved in a place called Never Never Land. I live in Never Never Land. Man. We need to
God
go get our
damn.
boy, man. You know,
You're right. And then
so,
I put bubbles in a time machine, and
yeah,
we all,
yeah.
yeah.
He had a whole monkey. Fucking llamas. Damn, Mike. But see,
Oh man,
and I'm
God
such a
damn.
black guy. He's one of the best. He was the king of. I give him
He
that.
was, yeah, of
I'm not
course.
going to take away from his work.
Hmm.
He was the baddest that did it. See, this is how we had a Messiah complex. We'd be talking about Mike, and they'll come up, but Mike, he did this, he moonwalking. We're not talking about it. His work was bad, but damn, Mike had issues. And we get into this Masonic complex so much so that we don't even want to keep it real with our peoples.
Right.
Where was Mike's support group at?
Ah,
Capitalism at its finest. If you're my friend, son, and we could be making $1 million, man, I respect you enough to put my $1 million on the line to always keep it real with you.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
nobody kept it real with Mike.
Yeah. A bunch of yes men. Yep. I
That's
agree
it.
with that. Yeah.
And that's why
Yeah.
we're mourning Mike to this day. The doctor didn't keep it real with Mike.
Hell
The doctor
no.
was like, yo, Mike, this is dangerous. You could die.
Right.
That nigga got a
Hello.
cell phone call, booty call, went on with the Mac it and killed Mike. Yeah, baby. Oh shit, Mike, wait a minute. Like he's a microwave dinner.
Right. Right. Oh damn. I mean to laugh. God damn.
I'm serious.
I
I
know.
can see Dr. Conrad now on his phone or whatever he was doing and be on some fuck and running in there 2 minutes
Right.
too late.
Yep. Exactly.
Silly
Exactly.
shit.
Yep. Mm.
So I mean, it's rough. Accountability is a big thing in the community, and it goes back to too what the topic and the title was about. Jason Van
Hmm.
Dyke doing under 4 years for killing. Laquan McDonald's kid shooting a young man 16 times. How did he do under 4 years?
Right. Yeah.
Because we don't, there's no follow through. This reaction,
No.
when we talk about accountability, this reactionary type shit that we're on.
Yeah.
Something happens, we protest, we tear up shit, rah, 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 and there's no follow through. They
Yeah.
sentenced him, yeah,
Right.
and there's no follow through.
Yeah. What did they send to, and
What they
how much
sentence him to,
time does he actually do before he gets out? And yeah,
right?
all that shit. Yeah. Because he don't. We talked about this before, Yang. They don't go to the prisons we go
No,
to.
absolutely not.
No, they
Especially not
don't.
police officers.
No, hell
You
no.
know, how much time is he going to get? How much time will he do? Does he
Mhm.
get a book? Or does the family? The family should sue because he's getting restitution. Taxpayers pay that back. Will his sucker be able to get a book deal out of it?
Right. Oh,
I mean,
what?
it's everything.
Yeah.
Things should be suspended. I mean, this is why I say I'm not a reformist, but I push the radical reformers, not just uh, politics to go like if Chris is a patriot, if he's into the system like that, If he advocates America to that degree, then he will be my guy on the sense I will push him to be a radical reformist.
Right. Good point. Yeah. Yeah. Good
I
to
want to see America. If you're advocating America to this degree, you can't quite possibly say that you believe that the treatment that people receive in America is right and exact, or then we would have to argue that point. And I'm sure
Right.
he's not lying. I'm sure he would have to.
No, I don't think he. I don't
Right.
think. No, he.
So
I
I'm
don't think
sure
Chris
he
is
would
like
have to, at the
that.
very least, he may not agree with revolution. See, this is why we have to learn to talk to people and know what category they're in. He
Right.
may not
Right.
agree. Now, he and I probably could debate revolution versus reformism, but I don't think he could
Right.
defend reformism.
Right.
And
Right.
if he is a patriot that advocates America and he knows America has a dirty, nasty underside, a side that is hell on her underprivileged class, then I think he would advocate reform to change that. And that's where you find people like that and you push them to radical reformism. You push them to challenge all the laws. You push them
Right.
you know, to radical reformism, like I said. Shit, you get them to challenge that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You ask them about the America that would allow something like this to happen. This police
Right.
officer, do you ask them about that and what could be done with that? You're the one that believes in this system. You're the one, and I'm not saying Chris per se. I'm just talking about reformists in general.
Right. In general. Right.
You're the one that believes in the system. You're the one that believes if we work within the law that we can find some salvation and liberation. Tell me about this injustice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we did this, we did that, then let us do it. And even then I would push them to even be more radical than they think they could be.
Right. Good point.
You know, and that's where that boils down to. And two things happen from that, prayerfully. One, we know that there is no salvation in the political process of this corrupt government. So we would hope that they're pushing, they're prodding, they're going after radical reform. Usually, when you push radical reformists to their ultimate end, to frustration, they eventually embrace revolution.
Right.
That's the first thing. They like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck this shit, fuck this, thinking America's gonna get it right just by tweaking and twerking capitalism. Fuck this
Right.
revolution solution. So they lose that. Then secondly, they push and push and push, preferably to the state that they agitate the state to either fight or the people to fight. See, so a
Right.
radical reformist, what I mean by that is a radical reformist will agitate and push the state into the state can't compromise anymore. And the
Facts.
state will say, fuck you people, and begin to suppress the people
Right.
and begin to murder and maim and do martial law. Unfortunately for black people, we become so fucking accustomed to it. We let them do it and we still haven't sparked revolution. But what the ideally is that you agitate the state enough that it will suppress the people to the people will react. And the revolutionary who is not a reactionary will take the reaction of the people and guide the reaction. That's in general theory.
Right.
The practice of it is how to get that to work. That's what the revolutionaries out there with the people in the day-to-day dialectics, explaining, informing, educating, actually participating to
Mm-hmm.
bring all of that to a head. Like
Right.
Chairman Bobby Seals said, I believe it was, seize the time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what that is. So to sum it up in concluding, we push the radical reformers to agitate the state, to piss them off.
Yeah.
Fuck with them
Facts.
until they be like, fuck it, and come after us, come after the people, and we learned and we've seen it one time before where the Panthers did it.
Yeah.
The Panthers, albeit a revolutionary black nationalist organization, took it past radical reformism, but yet they used the laws. They didn't have a
Right.
radical reformist, but they used the law
Right.
to agitate the state. They used the law of carrying a gun to agitate the state until the state implemented what was it, the Bradford Act.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's right.
that made it illegal to openly carry a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what we do. And then, and this was a tester. This is on a small scale. Now, thanks to this maneuver by the Panthers, then we have a small example of how revolution can be ignited, initiated, and carried out.
Mm-hmm.
And we can learn from those mistakes. So what did they do? They used the law, which is your constitutional right to bear arms, or you have a Second Amendment right to bear arms. You have a constitutional right, I believe, the Constitution or Bill of Rights, to change a government that is unable or unwilling to look out for you. And I'm paraphrasing, to
Right.
look out for your best interest, to ensure you life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and all of those particular things. You
Mm-hmm.
have that constitutional right. And so what we do is we exercise that right to the extremes to agitate them like the Panthers did. You have their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You have the right to bear arms. So the Panthers, all of that was interpreted as self-determination. You have the right to, where the government is unable and unwilling to defend you and this and that, to basically defend yourself, to take up arms. So the Panthers did that. They fed
Right.
the people. They defended the people. They
Mm-hmm.
educated the people. They did all of these things. They had rights. So they agitated the state.
Yeah.
And the state waged war. So there was an opportunity to kick off a revolution.
Right.
So the revolution was kicked off. Only thing was the state was, one step ahead of that in the
Yeah.
revolution. This is what we learned. What did the state do? The state appropriated the programs. The
Yeah.
state said, okay, we'll take the power base from the Panthers. The power base is the people. How are they? All powers to the people, right? How are they getting the people? Oh, they're feeding the people. Let's give free breakfast and free lunch in school.
Right.
Oh,
Good move, actually. Good move.
they're right. But they're taking care of the people's nutritional needs. These pregnant women's nutritional needs. Let's give them WIC. Women, infants, and children.
Right.
They're doing sickle cell anemia. They have discovered, not just sickle cell anemia testing, they have discovered that sickle cell anemia is particular
Mm-hmm.
to so-called African Americans, as they were saying. So let us acknowledge sickle cell anemia. Thank you, Panthers.
Right. Thank you very
You know
much.
what I'm saying? So what they did, the state realized that the powers of the people, gave us socialist programs. Now here, this capitalist state had to adopt socialist programs, gave us socialist programs. And just like, unfortunately, and this is what we learned from, the Panthers had ingrained them people through these programs, you know, and when the state gave the people the programs, when the people lined up for the free cheese and free, because I'm old enough to remember the Panthers, you know what I'm saying? Because my father was a Panther, and I'm old enough to remember the attack of the state
Right.
on the Panthers through the socialization, through the social programs. But back then, it wasn't food stamps, not even the paper food stamps. It was powdered milk, a
Yep.
big block of cheese,
Mm-hmm.
peanut butter, powdered eggs. So while we were standing in line getting this government aid,
Mm-hmm.
that's when all hell broke loose, because now the masses' attentions is going here. Here's all the substance. Here's all the program. Here's where it's happening at. And
Right.
they moved in and murdered the Panthers.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So people say, oh, so where was your revolution? Failed revolution? Not really. Not really. We didn't get what we wanted, but we got the state to acquiesce. We got the state to
Right.
concede to the needs of the people. And
Facts.
that's what the revolution is about. The
Facts.
needs of the people. Because
Yeah,
before
the
the
end game. Yeah, the end
people,
game was still accomplished.
there you go,
Mm-hmm.
son. There you go.
Yep.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Only it took a black nationalist to say that. The
Mm-hmm.
end.
Yeah.
It wasn't the bigger end game. And ideally, we want to be separate. We want to own this, that, but they showed us that it can, because the end game was the people were fed, clothed, and housed to a degree
Facts.
that the state had to acknowledge the people.
Yeah.
They're not acknowledging as much as we want, but at one particular time, there was no acknowledgement.
Right. That's true. That is
All
true.
through self-determination. And so that's what The Panthers brought us. Look, man, I'm coming up on the second hour. You know, like always, man, it's been a great build. I appreciate everybody that stopped in and build with us. Man, my first whole 40 minutes was on damn mute. I ain't even know no could nobody. I'm telling y'all, I was getting down. I was like the son of Jesus. If you'd have wrote it down, you'd have said I was spitting gospels.
Right.
I was getting down. I'm just funny. But damn, I do hate it was on mute. I would like to believe I was dropping some heavy shit.
Right.
But I'm on the second hour. I asked Nundy to set up. Let me go check. Somebody check and see if Nundy has set up her show.
Yeah, Nundy should be getting ready. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Everybody head on it over to Nundy show.
let's jump over there to the campgrounds, man. Let's see what's cracking.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, what show is she doing? Like, does anyone know the subject?
No, we were gonna do Mansa Sanjata, but I called and scheduled that tomorrow. For a lot of our schedules was conflicting and things, so we're gonna bring his show on tomorrow. But I told her I was shutting down, so for her to jump on. Bishop, peace, man. I ain't even see my brother up there, man. Let me send him a piece in the chat. Yeah, I told her that I was shutting down.
Okay. I was just asking. My bad.
No problem. You're fine. What's up, just me? You've been awfully quiet.
I mean, I've been just listening. I haven't really you guys were going back and forth on each topic, so I was basically just like listening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, I hope they don't mind. I'm just kind of just here.
No,
Now
man,
I'm just here.
I love it. Hey, you guys, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Even share, why don't you? I dare you. I dare you to let us put some of this black nationalism on your airwaves and your channels. Let us beat up some of this ignorant shit being masqueraded as black excellence or black progressiveness. We're challenging that. Son, like always, man, you the big homie. I appreciate you, following through riding with me. Just me.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you jumping in the car. You crazy and jumping in the car with me and son. We up here riding, so I appreciate you riding. To the chat room, man, I appreciate everybody riding. I'm gonna leave you like I always greet you. You know how Yang get out. All powers to oppressed people. African power to an African people, and black power.
Black power, brother.
Black power.